And the other question is with so many other companies right now, it seems like there's a mad dash for this, obesity, diabetes, whatever you want to call this, you know, GLP-1 and GLP-1 adjacent type drugs. Is does it make a company like Metsera very like like how would I say, like, promising, or is it kind of start looking and be like, man, this is going to get really crowded really fast because, you know, Pfizer's moving to phase three, Amgen moved to phase three on some of theirs. You mentioned Viking. There's a few others that are, looking to go public or are public with, the existing products on the market. Like, at what point does it start to get like a crowded price thing and the rates of return for these drugs don't quite line up with like what Novo and Eli Lilly have been getting for them?
Yeah, I mean, just realize this is going to be mega blockbuster size. So
Okay.
we think of blockbuster as $1 billion. So if a drug can make $1 billion, that's a blockbuster drug, and maybe you get a valuation of $8 to $10 billion in market cap for having one drug on the market that's a blockbuster. And so then we're talking about if we go to Humira or something that's like a $30 billion market cap, $30 billion worth of sales at its peak. And so, then that's not even the whole class of autoimmune diseases, drugs that treat autoimmune diseases, the same autoimmune diseases that Humira treated. So, the class is probably maybe 50 billion or something. And this is probably going to be like obesity is probably going to be closer to like $100 billion a year. So that's a lot of pie to separate into different segments. So I think, as I said before, I think tolerability is going to end up being the number one, and close, and maybe one and one A, one B. The other one's going to be how the route of administration. So once monthly injections is obviously better than once weekly for a patient. Oral is a lot of times better than once weekly, although that's it can be half and half in terms of which patients prefer. But then but then if the tolerability is bad for oral, then patients aren't going to take it. But then if patients may try the oral because they don't want to inject themselves, and then they may decide that some patients will be fine on it, and some patients won't tolerate it very well, and so then they'll try some other drug that maybe does has a different format. And so I think there's room for variability here, and I think a lot of people will end up taking multiple drugs before they hit their goal weight, and stay at their goal weight. So that's another completely different topic of patients going off of it and then going back up. So there's probably a market just for maintenance, where you may not even care about the route down. You may just, if you have a really good drug that's an easy format, you might be able to just take some of that maintenance market. So I think there's a lot of options here for a lot of companies. So yes, it's going to get crowded, and yes, there's going to be some losers, but I think there's plenty of room for multiple winners.